Hi YouTube. I wanted to make this video because last weekend I got to see an excellent movie called Right to Love. It's the story of Jay and Bryan Leffew and their family. They are a gay couple who are married and have kids, and they live in California. This movie kind of chronicles their love story, their life, as well as how Proposition 8 in California impacted their relationship, and ultimately the fight and the struggle for marriage equality in the state of California. I absolutely loved this movie, and I'm excited to see the movie really go nationwide because I think tons of people need to see it. Now, my views are kind of interesting on this movie because I actually have been a conservative evangelical pastor for the last 20 years. And coming from that perspective, this isn't the kind of movie that a whole lot of conservative evangelicals would stand up and say, yeah, I love this movie. I would think everybody ought to see it. But even though I come from that background, I want to say that I do believe that everybody should see this movie. The reason is because over the last couple of years, my views on marriage equality have changed. And I'm really thankful that this movie really dug into some real life stories of marriage equality and put a face to the issue. Because a lot of evangelical Christians don't see a face to the issue of marriage equality. They just look at it as them being against it for theological reasons. What I loved about this movie is that there was a whole section where a theologian was actually interviewed, and he spoke about the issue of homosexuality in the Bible. And during that section, he talked about the fact that from his understanding of Scripture, and he's somebody who has studied it quite a bit, what is being talked about in the Bible is not the way that conservative evangelical churches tend to interpret those scriptural passages. And so, in his mind, gay marriage, gay relationships are not something that are prohibited in Scripture. I've come to that same conclusion regarding my own thoughts regarding marriage equality. And so I'm really glad that this film addresses that issue. And it especially helps Christian believers to begin to broaden their minds and realize that even within the realm of Christianity, that there are a lot of different interpretations to Scripture and how people can see the issue of marriage equality. Then by putting the Leffew family in the video, in the movie, and really showing them to be a traditional family, raising kids, doing all of the things that any normal family would do. It just helps you see that marriage equality is something that really ought to be passed, not just in the state of California, but nationwide. I think this film is very effective in helping people to understand the political side of the issue, the theological side of the issue, and also just the faces of real people and how this issue affects real families. And I use that phrase, real families, because families like the Leffews, gay couples, are real families. And many gay couples have children. And that's why this movie is so important, because real families need to be recognized as such, as real families. And gay relationships need to have the opportunity to be honored as true married couples, just like straight couples do. They need to be able to have the same rights and benefits that married couples do who are straight. This film goes over and above the call of duty to show just how normal a gay couple can be and how they deserve the same rights as any other straight couple. Another thing that you need to know about this film is that the director of the film is an evangelical Christian herself, and her views on the issue of marriage equality changed over time and were greatly impacted by the story of Bryan and Jay Leffew. And so I just want to encourage everyone to see this film. You may not already agree with marriage equality, you may completely disagree about it. And you may be coming from a Christian perspective on it. But if that's the case, I challenge you to see the film and to allow the story and the truths that are shared in there to impact you. I guarantee you it will tug at your heart, and it will let you know that marriage equality is an important thing that this country needs to wrestle with and ultimately to pass in this nation. I highly recommend The Right to Love.